Hi, my name is Javana and I'm from BC. Let me know in the comments where you're from. I'm new to YouTube and I thought I would come on here and share my story of like how I cured myself from cancer in like 7 weeks. It is so true and it's such a magical story that I think you want to stay to the end because like that was all the magic where the magic happened. But along the way it was it was like the best 7 weeks of my life. Well, maybe not the best, because obviously when I got the bad news that I had it, it was kind of scary in a way, yes. But I find that when these things happen, they happen for a reason. And so because of that situation, I say, I know nobody would want to hear this about cancer being my friend, because it is my body and we're magical beings. So if you look at my channel, there's a lot of videos in the beginning when I just first started, and it was just fluffy, like happy, we're perfect videos. And I want to tell some stories, and this is one of my videos, and I'll have more because my journey is a pretty long, fun journey, but there's a lot of things that happened to me that I've overcome, and every single one there was just, it was just so amazing. And that's what makes me who I am today. So I am, yeah, I'm Joanna. I have a grandson. Yes, I look young, and I share my tips about being young too. But anyways, so it was cervical cancer. So it wasn't one of the big, huge cancers, but still, it was cancer. And it was like one of those last minute type of things, because I was pretty healthy. I do all the healthy things. People in my work were always like, Joanna, you're healthy. How did you get cancer? And my daughter was, yeah, this happened like 7 years ago, and it's just taken me this long to go on YouTube because I wanted to share this with the world, and it's just taken me now, but at any time is a present, so it's perfect. So anyways, the doctors, like all of a sudden I was supposed to get my pap test, and sometimes we we forget, and we don't, they take forever, and you're like, okay, let's do it every 2 years or every whatever. And so it was my regular pap test, and I was lying in bed, and I had some symptoms going on with me, but I ignore them. Sometimes we ignore symptoms, and to this day, I would probably ignore them again, because what we tell ourselves creates. This is what I've learned in my experience. Our minds, like, they create everything. So anyways, I as all of a sudden this little box came up on Facebook. I was lying in bed and it said, if you have 3 or more of these symptoms, you have cervical cancer or whatever. So in the box, I feel like it was the universe giving me the sign. And I had like 3 of those symptoms. And then it just sort of hit me. And I was like, I had a phone call and I just did my pap test. And so then it was like a ding ding, uh-oh, pap test. What are they calling me for? So of course I had to go in. And then I'm lying there with the doctor. And then he's asking questions. But you just sort of know. Like, you just sort of have that feeling. You're like, wait a minute, that's the sign. You just sort of know. And he's asking these questions. And then he was like, well, this is what's going on in your body. And then he brought up something about like a pre-screening done like 15 years prior to that. So he says you should have had come back in and had it reassessed or been checked out 5 years later. But we never did it. The doctors never went through it. But oh well, it brought me to that where I was at that moment. So I was like, he's like, so as soon as he told me what's the possibility, pretty highly chances, because I already had those symptoms, I just bawled because I just knew it. I just knew it. So I was like, I find when you have an illness and everything, like, it's really good to be in the present moment. But that was one of my big wake up journeys. Because when you do have something in your body, you are present, because you're like, oh my gosh, I have this in my body. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, but it wasn't for sure thing. But the doctor said, okay, well, we have to take a few more tests. We have to have this test leap done. We have to have this done. But what I did notice that whenever I had a test done, it's like, okay, well, they come fast. The results come really fast. When the results come fast, it's always negative. When the results come late, it's positive. So I just knew it. And so Anyways, I took a couple days to kind of have my sorrows, cried and was like, oh boy, so, what stage am I at? Looking up symptoms, like what can I expect? Am I gonna have to radiation chemo? Am I gonna lose my hair? Am I gonna do all these things? And I had my daughter downstairs and I thought, oh, and it was a long weekend, so all my friends were gone away, everybody was gone. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna sit there by myself and while I'm usually a positive person. I'm a very positive person. And I'm going to notice that this might be a longer video, but it's really worth listening to because it's so magical. Anyways, I didn't want to tell my daughter at first because she was young and I just didn't want to crush her. And so I took about a day, and then I had a friend. I call everybody like angels. There's angels everywhere. My daughter is an angel. My friends are angels. Like, people are anywhere, everywhere. They're angels, and they're helping you. So they're guiding you. So I had a friend saying, hey, my dad's friend had cancer. You need to call him. He healed himself from this like tea. And I was just like, okay. I kind of ignored it. Didn't want to listen. Sometimes we just don't want to listen. So the next day I went to go feed my brother's cats. So I went to his house, and there my friend called again and was like, you gotta call this guy. He healed himself. Like, he had throat cancer. He was gonna die in 6 months. Took this tea and healed himself in like 8 weeks. And so I was like, okay, fine. So I called this guy. I don't know who he was, on the phone. And before I finish this part of it, the few days ago before that, I was serving at my job. I served at a pub. And this was when I was waiting for the news. And it was lunchtime on a Friday. And I had a whole big section serving. And there's people that came in. And there was a guy there that I hadn't seen in a while. And he was eating. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while. And he was happy and blah, blah, blah. Didn't think anything of it. That was when I had the phone call. The news, the doctor, okay, you have this, it's aggressive, because there's 2 different kinds. There's the non-aggressive and then there's aggressive kind. Mine was the aggressive kind. So he said, we don't know, we're going to take the next test to see if it's how bad it is, if we have to do radiation chemo or what, if you have a choice to do get the radical hysterectomy and stuff like that. So anyways, back to the story of phoning this guy. I phoned him. And the minute he said, oh, he told me his whole story. I didn't even know who he was. He was like, yeah, I was supposed to die. I had throat cancer. I had 6 months to live, and he went and he had friends that did some, a fundraiser, and he was able to get like, the paid, there's a chemo radiation that you get from the hospitals. And then there's the other stuff that if you pay a lot of money, it's supposed to work better. But they raised all this money, paid all this money for this other kind. It still didn't work for him. Still didn't work. So, but he found this guy who sold this tea. And so he went to this tea guy, and in 6 weeks, it healed himself. But he went to the doctor. The doctor said, this tea will heal you, blah, blah, blah. Many, many other stories of this healing. And so he believed in it. The belief was the main thing. So he says he healed himself in like 6 weeks. And now, so then the minute he told me that, I was inspired. I was like, oh my God, yes. So I'm like, do I want to believe all what the doctors are going to tell me? Or do I want to believe this inspiring story that, oh my gosh, he healed himself? Just the fact that there wasn't a possibility of healing yourself. So I'm like, okay, I phoned the tea guy. I went down to the tea guy, sat there, so happy, in belief, like, that's it. I'm healing myself through this. I just made that decision right there. And he had a picture on the wall. And I said, oh, who is that guy? And he's like, that's the guy that healed himself, like, the throat cancer. And I looked in the picture. He was the guy that I was serving the day I got my bad news in the pub. Never met him before. Like, I've seen him serving many, many times, but I didn't know my friend from where I live. Her dad was their friend. I was like, so that just gave me chills of like, oh my gosh, there's like this universe. Like, I've always deep kind of had a feeling that there's like, Jesus is my friend, and the universe, the magical universe, because my mom died when I was really young. So there's these other things I went through in my life, and sometimes we don't. We believe these things, but we just ignore them, and we think that they're not true. But this time I was like, oh my gosh, that is a sign. That is a sign this tea is gonna work. Like whatever. I believed I was gonna, whatever. So then, anyways, I went to the doctors, and of course, doctors want you to do the radiation chemo because it's the safest thing to do. The tea doctor said, no, this stuff will work. This stuff will work. You good. But so then, anyways, I believed it, and so then the other doctor called me and said, okay, well, we have a PET. We're gonna get your X-rays. We're gonna get a PET scan. PET scan's 3 weeks. So the other doctor had said to me, the cancer doctor said, well, your cancer is at that line, and we want to do chemo and radiation. And I said, okay, well, but we're still gonna look at the PET scan or whatever. I had it in 3 weeks. So I said, hey, can we just wait till the PET scan to decide? And then the doctor said, yeah, that's fine. We'll wait till then. And so I thought to myself, I have 3 weeks for this to work. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. So 3 weeks come, and I'm just like, do the PET scan. And it was like my birthday the next day. The morning I woke up after the PET scan, and I said to my boyfriend at the time, I said, you know what? It's my birthday, so I'm gonna go walk into that doctor's office, and this is what they're gonna tell me. Wow, that's amazing. Like, I can't believe that it was this size and now it's this size. So you have the choice if you want to have a radical hysterectomy instead. Because for me, I was done already having children, so the radical hysterectomy would just be okay, where I can keep my ovaries and not have periods anymore. So I thought, that's a bonus, no period. That's fine. I prefer that than, the chemo radiation. So then I said, they're going to give me the choice. So the minute I got to the radiation appointment, I walked in. Guess what the lady said to me? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Oh, like where it was supposed to be, it shrunk. It's not that high anymore. And I'm like, I knew it would be. I knew it would be. So anyway, she went to go talk to the doctor and come back, and I knew her talking to the doctor, coming back, she'll be like, well, because they go by what the papers say. Well, I'm going to tell you what both sides are, if you do the radical hysterectomy or if you do the radiation chemo. So after she tells me about, well, if you do radiation chemo, you're going to go through menopause. And then now she told me a whole list of things that I didn't want to experience. So I was like, I'm going to choose the other. And she said, well, the doctors, they prefer you to do the radiation chemo because it's more chances that, and then because if you do the radiation chemo, or if you do the radical hysterectomy and take your cervix and that out, if there's still leftovers in there, then you'd have to do the radiation chemo on your bowels, which is worse. So they prefer that. So, but you know what? I just believed. I believed in the tea. It could be like, I could have believed in anything. I could believe in some candy. I could believe in whatever. And I'm not saying for others to not do the radiation chemo, but the belief that the chemo and radiation will work, believe that you're healthy, believe whatever you want to believe, make it what you want, but do not wobble about the belief. So whether you choose chemo radiation, that's fine. I'm not saying not to choose that. I'm just saying that if you do choose that, believe that will work. Believe whatever you choose will work. And so then anyways, I was like, okay, I get the choice. Yay, I'm excited. I get to do radical hysterectomy. So leading up to the appointment, they still said, Giovanna, you're not out of the weeds yet. So the morning of, I had to go get these like big needles in me just to do an x-ray to check that it spread. So every day was like, it could spread. So the doctors were still trying to fear me into thinking that it will spread. And I was like, no, the tea works. So in the morning of, I just got my boyfriend to drop me off at the hospital. I knew I was going to be there all day long, like 10 hours or something like that. And I thought, do I want him there? And probably didn't. He didn't really want to be there. So I was like, I'm just going to do this on myself. I have strengths. I can do this, right? There's me and God. There's me in the world. There's me and whatever. So anyways, I went. The doctor's still calling me in the morning going, our doctors really want you to do the radiation chemo, but it's still your choice. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. It's going to work. So I go and I'm sitting on the bed and I'm getting this purple outfit on and this tube up my down below. And the doctor comes in and he says to me, well, guess what? From your 2 ovaries, one is lighting up and we want to take it out, your ovary. And we prefer to take the second one out because if we take it out, then you won't have the chance of having ovarian cancer. But if we take them out, you'll have to go on hormone replacement pills. So I thought, oh my gosh, no. I'm like, no, I have a choice to keep one. Okay, I'll keep that one. Well, you might get ovarian cancer. No, I believe in myself. I'm healthy. This tea worked. I just believed in the tea, regardless of whatever it was. I was like, no, it worked. It worked for the other guy. It worked for me. So anyways, we roll down to get these big needles up my hoo-hoo so I can get an x-ray. But in the meantime, after the needles, I had to lie in this open hallway in this purple outfit. I'd wait like 2-3 hours for this dye to go through my body. And so what did I do for those 3 hours? I sat there and I was like, I completely surrendered. I was like, okay. So I'm pretty, like, before that I was always a control freak. I always want to make sure I had money and had my, being a single mom, I worked a serving job, so I made good money, so I could take care of everything by myself. I could do everything by myself. I was always by myself, but I had everything I wanted, but I was always in control of it, and then when things go wrong, I reacted or had an angry anger outburst. It's just, we get into that fear mode that we can't control everything. So this moment when I was lying there, I was like in complete surrender because what control did I have? None. It was up to the universe. It was God. So I said, universe, God, I completely surrender. This is all up to you. I want to live and I want to have a healthy life. And I chose, I put what I wanted to be in there. I completely surrender you because really it's totally up to you. And I completely surrender. And you know what? It was the best feeling of my entire life to completely surrender and having the weight off your shoulder, being like, it's not just me. It's not just me. There's this whole universe that's magical, just like the sign of the guy that I serve. The universe is always with you. It's magical. It's just I was like, it felt so good to completely surrender. When you're a child and you have no worries and all you have to do is play and you're just the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. Dreams, the joy, the fun, the play. I was like, okay, that's it. So anyways, I went to go do the x-ray. I went I went to the surgery. I went into this room and I thought, okay, everything's doing okay. I went to this room. I thought I still had 7 hours ahead of me. I'll just play on my phone. I go into the room. It's cement everywhere, so my phone didn't work. So I was like, okay, you still want me to hang out with you, God? Okay. It was no distractions. No distractions. Just being with me. Just being in my own energy. Who am I? Why am I here? Anyways, right when I thought I was like, I just totally surrendered. So anyways, after that, I got rolled up, and even the doctor said, you know what, you're still not out of the woods because we can open you up and it could spread all over and we still would sew you back up and send you home and you still have to do radiation chemo. So that whole day, there was always just that chance. They kept saying it might happen, it might happen, it might happen. You're not out of the woods yet. And I was just like, no, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to, the light is still good and you can see me. Anyways, rah. So anyways, oh, that's dark enough. Okay, I hope you can see me. Anyways, so then, you can't see me here. Ooh. Anyways, I'm almost done my story. I'm almost done my story. So as it's getting dark. Anyways, I went through the surgery. I woke up and oh my gosh, I woke up. The doctor came into the room and said, guess what? That was the best surgery I've ever done. And guess what? You got to keep both your ovaries. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, whatever was lighting up before, 2 weeks before, it's gone now. It's completely gone. But then he said to me, you're not out of the woods yet, because we still have to wait the 10 days to see if it's cleared out of my body. If it's still there, you could still use radiation, could still have to use radiation chemo on your bowels and stuff. So I thought, nope, I'm clean, I'm good, I'm healed, I'm healed. And I said to him, okay, I'll hear from you in 10 days. And he's like, why 10 days? I said, 7 days is bad news, 10 days is good news. I'll hear from you in 10 days. So anyways, I went on the next 10 days, doing my thing, healing, of course. Of course, I healed and rest and did all those things the doctor told me to do. All of a sudden, the phone rings on the 10th day. I pick up the phone. I was like, hi, doctor. He's like, guess what? I said, I am healed. I have nothing. It's clear. And he goes, you are exactly right. You're clear. There's no cancer left in your body. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he goes, oh my God, you're out of the woods. And the moral of my story is, and I don't know why my light is not working here, but I'll keep finishing because the story is just done. This is the best part of the story. I was fully healed. It was just like, whether it was the tea or not the tea, the point was I was inspired and I believed it all along. And that's how magical the universe is. And that's what showed me, that woke me up. And you know, I have another video I can share about, because my daughter, after like a year after that, moved away, got married and moved away to the States, and she was my world. And you know, with the cancer thing also too, what I realized is that I was always such a happy person. I always woke up and happy no matter what happened in my life. I would just be very resilient, I guess is what you could say, a survivor. But I don't use those words anymore. But when I realized the year before I got the cancer, there was a couple of decisions that I had made with myself that I regretted. So all the other times I didn't wallow in regret and shame and stuff. But this one year before I got the cancer, I had made 2 decisions in my life and I regretted them. And so I took a year, and that year I kept regretting. And so that's what I realized with the cancer, is that when you stay in those shame and regret energy, it brought my cancer in my body, because my body reacts to the brain. If I'm always thinking my shame or doubt or what I did wrong and why did I do this, da 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 da, the cancer showed up in my body. But the really amazing thing was the cancer was my friend, because it got me to be like, wait, cancer, who are you? Like, it got to me to love my body. It got me to realize the miracles are all around me, that everything is a miracle. And then I cured it. It gone. It went away. And so I say cancer is my best friend, because it brought me to deeper levels of myself and my soul and connecting to me. So then a year later, when my daughter moved away, put in the comments if you want to hear the story, but I'll probably make the video anyways. But because of what I learned with this about the thoughts in my head, about believing and not wobbling or denying everything that's doubt, fear, or any of those things, and just live in belief, like this is going to happen. Don't wake up and thinking, is this not going to happen? Like sometimes we think, is this not going to happen? Is this da 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 da? But stay in it, like believe in it. So then a year later, when my daughter moved away, I had the decision, am I going to cry? Am I going to be lonely? Because my identity, my daughter was my identity. I was a mom. She moved away. But stay tuned to another video, or just write in the comments of how I empowered myself to, like, I could have decided, like, I'll just become an alcoholic and drink and be poor me, my daughter moved away. Or I can use this to my advantage and grow from it. And I did. I grew from it. And that's what made this even more. And being that my daughter moved away wasn't a bad thing. I'll make another video of how I traveled to go see her, and now I have a grandson. Like, there's so many journeys that I've been on since this. But also when I look back in my life about losing my mom at such a young age and the belief system I had back then, but which will be another video I'll share with you. So let me know in the comments if this had helped you. And I do offer sessions to soul clarity and healing. Like, mediumship found me. I'm a healer. So if you ever want to work with me for more soul clarity and need someone to, like, I have a friend that calls me her kick my ass angel. So if you want me to kick your ass into, like, walking the path of your higher self, or just being you, or that, go watch some of my other videos, my, like, just quick videos of just, like, there's lots of wisdom in there. It's like you grow so much with just learning to tune into yourself as opposed to letting the outside circumstances or people telling you, you have cancer. Do you believe it or do you not believe it? What's your beliefs? So anyways, I love you. I'm Giovanna. Share your journey with me. I love everyone. I think that's why I was put on this earth, was to go through all these journeys and share it with you. So that's why my channel is called Adventures in Giovanna, because there's many, many, many adventures that I can share with you. And instead of all the happy, happy, joy, joy ones, there's some ones that are not, this wasn't, I wouldn't say that this whole time in my 7-week journey of healing myself, it wasn't all sparkly. Obviously I was scared, but I didn't allow this scare, like my fear, to run my life. I just believed. It was just so amazing. There's so many amazing things around you, and you are a gift from God. You are here to be you, and I encourage you to be you. I love you. Have a good day. Bye. I'm sorry about the light getting dark, but it's still a good story.